This is the post-wash routine that I swear by for maintaining long, strong, healthy hair. And it's the second half of the Abbey Young method. Let's jump in. After towel drying with a microfiber towel, I'm ready to apply my first post-wash treatment, which is the Living Proof Triple Bond Complex Hair Strengthener. Or, as of recently, an affordable alternative. So I will share that in a second, but for those of you that are newer here, I'm going to quickly give you some context as to why I started using this and why I've kept it in my routine for years. So I think I had already been using K18 for over a year when I started to see a lot of requests from you guys to review this product. But the benefits of K18 are really cumulative, so I knew it wouldn't be a fair comparison to just discontinue use of that when I had been using it for over a year to try this out instead. So I decided that I would keep K18 in my routine and test this out as an incremental bond repair treatment to see if I would see any further improvements in my hair. I trialed it for about 2 months, and after that period, I definitely felt that my hair was just softer, smoother, and shinier than it had been prior, so I've kept it in my routine ever since. And as you guys have already seen, you know that I really try to offer as many recommendations in every product category as I possibly can because I know that everyone has different preferences, different hair types, different budgets. But for the longest time, I wasn't able to offer any affordable alternatives to this product because up until relatively recently, these were the only kinds of drugstore bond repair treatments available. And these are obviously not formulated for post-wash leave-in use in the way that Living Proof is. However, this one from Pantene is. Since the launch of all of these original drugstore bond repair treatments, Pantene has come out with their version of a bond repair treatment called the Pro Vitamin Essence Weightless Leave-On Treatment. And this is different from those treatments because, like it says in the product name, it is a leave-on treatment and it is a mist. So this treatment contains a concentrated amount of panthenol to repair damage and strengthen broken bonds. And Pantene had already conducted testing that showed that panthenol is able to increase our hair's tensile strength, which is why panthenol is really utilized in a major way in their main damage repair system, Miracle Rescue. But they recently conducted additional testing to better understand how panthenol is actually interacting with the protein structures of our hair fiber, and through that we're able to determine that panthenol is likely forming hydrogen bonds with our hair proteins, which is how it's able to increase our hair's tensile strength. So I just wanted to share that because number one, the study was just recently officially published in September and is available for anyone to read, so I will list and link that below if you'd like to learn more. But also because I have officially fully used up 2 full bottles of this treatment and love how it makes my hair feel, so I am really excited to finally have a drugstore alternative to recommend for this step, especially one that can be applied even more evenly in this weightless mist format. So now this post-wash bond repair step for me includes either using Living Proof or Pantene. I'll do one or the other. Living Proof recommends using this at least weekly or more if needed for damaged hair, and Pantene says that you can use this as often as you want to, up to daily. My approach is to just apply one of these treatments post-wash every wash day, which is 3 times a week for me. Both brands recommend applying these treatments first out of the wash before you apply any other leave-in treatments, and Living Proof specifically recommends waiting 10 minutes after application of this before using any other leave-in product. I didn't see any instructions like that for Pantene, so I double-checked with their scientist to make sure, and she said that nope, you don't have to wait to apply any other product because this will fully absorb in the amount of time that it takes to spray on your hair. So I'm either applying Living Proof and waiting 10 minutes or Pantene and immediately moving on to step 8, which is leave-in conditioner / heat protection. This is one of the most crucial steps in my entire hair care routine because it gives me so many benefits and protects my hair from so many things all in one step with one single product. And those benefits that I'm achieving with this step include protecting from heat, protecting from damage, preventing breakage, especially because it's giving me that much needed extra slip and protection around the strand for easier detangling, in addition to softening, smoothing, adding shine, taming frizz, and making my hair more manageable. Now you see why I say this step is so important. That was a lick of approval. Finn agrees. My top recommendations include Pantene Miracle Rescue, OGX Bond Protein Repair, the Not Your Mother's Bonding Leave-In Protector, L'Oreal 21-in-1 Moisture, Tresemme Keratin Smooth, Tresemme Heat Tamer, Curology Color Fanatic, Bumble & Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil Primer, and Redken When United. I just posted a detailed comparison review of all of those leave-in conditioners, so if you need more help figuring out which one is going to work the best for your hair type, that's listed below for you. And the exact spray that I choose to use on any given day really just depends depends on which products I used in the shower that wash day and which products, if any, I plan to use after. Because if I used heavier products in the shower and I'm planning on using a couple of additional products after my leave-in, then I might want to opt for something lighter like Pantene Miracle Rescue. But if I want max conditioning and smoothing, then I'll probably reach for something heavier like L'Oreal 21-in-1 or Pureology Color Fanatic. But either way, no matter which spray I choose to use that day, I always apply them in the exact same way, which is on my still damp hair after whichever bond repair treatment I used, and then I'm ready to move on. But where exactly I move on to and where I go from here in this routine really varies so much from wash day to wash day. Because some days I just leave it at that, I'll apply my spray and then begin my drying process, but other days I may go in with a styling product next, or on other days I might use a serum or an oil, or some combination of those things, so it really just depends. I made step 9 of this method styling not because you have to use styling products, you obviously don't, and not because they have to be in this exact same order in your routine, like have to be step 9, again they obviously don't, but really because I wanted to highlight the fact that number 1, you can absolutely use whatever styling products you would like and still achieve healthy hair, and number 2, you can really use them in whatever order makes the most sense for your routine based on the types of products you're using. Because there are a lot of different formats for styling products. There are wet sprays, mousses, gels that really work better when applied on damp hair, but there are also dry aerosols that work better applied on dry hair. So this step is completely flexible. And like I just mentioned, whether or not I use styling products and the exact styling products that I choose to use really varies from wash to wash and is highly dependent on how I plan to style my hair that day or the next day, because a lot of the times I style the next day. So while I'm not doing this every single wash day, when I do, some of my favorites include K18 Astro Lift, the Tresemme Total Volume Mousse, the R&Co Grasp Intense Hold Shaping Balm, Tresemme's Dry Texture Spray, the Oribe Dry Texturizing Spray, and the Living Proof Full Dry Volume and Texture Spray. And I know that I have definitely been pretty slow to add recommendations to the styling category. I do prioritize testing out other products like shampoos, conditioners, masks, leave-in sprays over stylers, because I feel like those are the kinds of products that you guys ask me about the most and want reviews on the most whenever there's new launches in those categories, but I am still testing stylers out behind the scenes, and whenever I have new favorites, you guys will be the first to know what they are. All right, we have made it to the final step in my post-wash routine, which I have broadly categorized as style sealers. This is another step that is completely optional. If you're loving the results that you get with just a post-wash leave-in spray and you don't feel like you need anything else, then you can leave it at that and skip this step. But if you feel like you need a little bit something more after that step, maybe a boost in shine, softness, smoothing, manageability, flyaway taming, frizz prevention, detangling, anything like that, then you can achieve those extra benefits with either an additional serum, cream, or oil. I actually have the least product recommendations of all for the serum category because I feel like I have tried so many over the years that either just don't do enough for my hair for it to make sense for me to continue using them, or that I just don't like at all. However, I am proud to announce that I officially have 3 serum recommendations now. First is the Garnier Hair Filler Strength Serum. Second is the Pureology Strength Cure Dream Healer Serum. And third is the Redken Acidic Bonding Concentrate 24/7 Night and Day Serum. It's better than nothing. I also need to test more lotions and creams because my recommendations are being discontinued as we speak, like L'Oreal Weightless Blow Dry Primer, discontinued. Tresemme One Step Blowout, discontinued. So what's left of my recommendations includes the L'Oreal Elvive Total Repair 5 Protein Recharge, the Pantene Miracle Rescue 3-in-1, the Redken Acidic Bonding Concentrate Leave-In Treatment, and the Bumble & Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil Long Last Styling Cream. The last of my style sealer recommendations are all oils, but oils are a little bit different for me because I like to apply serums, lotions, creams to my damp hair before I blow dry, and I like to apply oils after I blow dry. If you prefer applying oil to damp hair, you can definitely do that too. This is just the approach that I have always followed. I think honestly, because it makes it less likely that I will over apply that oil because I can actually see where that is like directly landing when my hair is dry versus if it's still damp. I don't know, it kind of conceals how much oil you're applying and then makes me more likely to overdo it, but either is totally fine. So I apply my leave-in conditioning spray, and then if I am planning on using a serum or a lotion, I will pick one of those and apply that after the spray when my hair is still damp, and then I start to let my hair air dry about 80% of the way. Once I hit that point, then I'll finish up with the the blow dryer, and if I'm not planning on using an air styler like the Dyson or the Shark, then I will just rough blow dry the entire rest of the way like I'm showing you here. So with my fingers, not using any sort of styling brush or round brush. And I saw a request to show what my hair looks like before I style it, so I thought I would just include that in this video here since we're at that point in the process. But if you would like a separate video where I walk you through all the different ways that I style and how that changes my drying process, let me know and I can definitely do that. So this is what my hair looks like after I blow dry. Very flat, straight, and heavy. Love that for me. And this is the point where I will call it quits for the day, and then if I'm planning on heat styling further, I will wait to do that until the next day. Unless, again, I'm using the Dyson or Shark and it makes more sense for me to style that same day. But if I'm just using a curling iron, I'll do that the next day, and lately I would say I've been heat styling on top of my blow dry 2 times a week and then leaving it unstyled like this 1 time a week for my midweek wash. But either way, this is when I like to finish it up with a little bit of hair oil. And a lot of my oil recommendations actually have added heat protection, so if you are looking for additional heat protection, you can definitely apply them before going in with a curling iron or a straightener. Otherwise, if you're good with heat protection and you're just looking for some light smoothing and added shine, then you can apply them after. Either's fine. I also just posted a video detailing all of my top hair oil recommendations, so that's listed and linked below as well, but the recommendations include the OGX Bond Protein Repair 3-in-1 Oil Mist, the OGX Argan Oil of Morocco Mist, the Living Proof Frizz Vanishing Oil, Amika Superfruit Star Lightweight Styling Oil, Dove Intensive Repair 10-in-1 Serum, Dove Bond Shield 10-in-1 Serum, Bumble & Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil, and the OGX Argan Oil of Morocco Penetrating Oil. For whatever reason, I have always gravitated towards this Argan Oil of Morocco line from OGX for post-wash use, but if you don't want to buy 2 oils and you're already using one of their coconut oils for pre-wash, you could definitely use this post-wash too. There's no reason why you can't use it for both. And that is it for my entire post-wash routine. But not it for this video. We're gonna wrap everything up with my final step, which is between wash care. But before we do that, I wanna give you guys some visuals of different examples of post-wash routines. I thought it might be helpful to start off with what your routine would look like if you were to use the least amount of product possible. So just 1 product post-wash, and then we can build from there if you were wanting to add more. So the 1 product post-wash routine would be a leave-in conditioning and heat protecting spray. And then depending on the benefits that you were looking for, if you wanted to add to that with an additional product, these are the options that you have. So you could either add a style sealer, a bond repair treatment, or a styling product. Then you have 4 different options here if you were to use 3 products total, and I would say that I am often following that first one: post-wash bond repair, leave-in spray, style sealer. And then of course with 4 products, that would be bringing everything together like this. All right, now we are ready for the final step in this hair care routine. This is another step that is entirely optional, but something that I really wanted to add to address the most common concerns that people tend to have between wash days. And those concerns include hair that looks and feels dry, needing to restyle with heat, and greasy roots. First is for those that have hair that's really prone to getting dull, dry, and tangled between washes. Some hair types are just more prone to this than others, but this is also very common if you have a lot of damage. Speaking from experience here. So the solution to this is to use a product that reconditions your hair to add more slip, softness, smoothing, protection, and shine. And there's no reason why you can't just reuse whatever style sealer you used on wash day for this purpose, because so many of those products do this amazingly well. I personally think that oils do this the very best, but if you feel like you already have quite a bit of buildup in your hair and you don't want to add to that, I totally understand that sometimes an oil can just feel too heavy. So if that's the case, you could opt for something lighter like one of the serums, or something that was specifically formulated for overnight or between wash use, like the Amika Midnight Mender Overnight Strength Repair Treatment. When I had severe damage, this step was a non-negotiable for me, and I would often apply a little bit of a hair oil or some other type of leave-in like a serum or cream every single day that I wasn't washing my hair because it just felt that dry and brittle. Now I would say that this is just more of an as-needed step for me, and definitely not something I find the need to do daily. It really all just depends on the products that I'm testing out that week and how well they condition my hair, because if I'm using something that makes my hair feel a bit dry, just doesn't condition as well as my favorites, then I probably will need to reach for something like an oil or that Amika product in between washes to recondition and add softness and detangle. But if not, and I'm using products that condition amazingly well, then I can often skip this step. Next is for those of you that want to reheat style in between washes. If the leave-in conditioning spray that you used on wash day has heat protection added to it, then you don't have to use a separate heat protectant before going in with a styling tool, but you might want to. The main reason being that when we apply that initial leave-in and spray with heat protection, our hair is wet, so it's naturally more clumped together, it's naturally more tangled, and therefore not as easy to evenly apply product as it is when our hair is fully dry and detangled. So if you just want to be extra sure that your hair is protected from heat as best and evenly as possible, kind of like get that additional insurance, then applying a separate heat protectant is the way to do that. And when your hair is already dry, I personally think that a dry aerosol spray works best for this. Some of my personal favorites include Amika the Shield, Oribe Gold Lust, and the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Heat Styling Spray. But I just did a giant dry aerosol heat protectant showdown, so if you want to hear my thoughts on all 15 that I tested, that is listed below for you. And last, for between wash care is specifically for those of you that get greasy quickly and want to refresh your roots between washes. There's a lot of confusion around dry shampoo and whether or not it's okay to use, but my take is that it's fine as long as it's not replacing your wash day. And as long as you make sure to use a deep cleaning shampoo the next wash after using a dry shampoo to fully remove that residue. Like for me personally, I often wash on Thursdays and Sundays, so if I have Saturday night plans, I'm greasy enough to need dry shampoo at that point. But the dry shampoo is not to skip Sunday, it's to just carry me to Sunday with a little bit of a refresh. Some of my favorite dry shampoos are Amika Perk Up Plus Extended Clean, Living Proof Advanced Clean, and Dove Advanced Volume and Fullness. Oh, also, I don't have it with me, but Not Your Mother's Clean Freak, so good. That is it for both my post-wash and between-wash hair care routines. To make sure that this is as crystal clear as possible and to put a nice bow on this, I'm going to build on the example weekly and monthly routines that I showed you in the last video so that they now include all of my pre-wash, in-shower, post-wash, and between-wash routines. So a typical weekly routine for me when I am not using K18 might look something like this, and then a K18 week would look the exact same but with K18 swapped in, which means that an example month in the life of my hair might look like this. Let me know if there are any outstanding questions I can answer about this routine, about my pre and in-shower routines, or just my beauty routines in general. I believe I'll be doing a Q&A next week to answer a bunch of the most commonly asked questions, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching this video and all of my videos. It means so much to me and I love the freaking heck out of you guys. And until that Q&A, I hope you have a great week.